Hey, everybody out there in Gracepoint land. We're back at it again. It's that time of the week. But before we get started, would you just take a minute and share this devotional with your friends and family so that we can spread the gospel of Jesus Christ all over the globe? It's time for Grace Points. I think science is really interesting. Now, don't get me wrong, I never wanted to be a scientist. In fact, I was never particularly good at science. But I remember when I was a child, my parents bought me this science kit, and it had all of the little ingredients in it and the instructions for doing science experiments and a little microscope. And I'd take it out on the back deck and I would do all these crazy things. But I think the thing that I did most consistently with it was just combining baking soda and vinegar in a test tube and acting like a mad scientist. And when I felt really sciencey, I added food coloring, and that just took my science to a whole nother level. But what's really interesting to me is the science behind glow sticks. Yeah, glow sticks. You know, those little plastic tubes, you snap them and they glow. Interesting thing about it is the actual science behind it. There are two fluids inside, and when you snap that little plastic tube, the fluids combine in a chemical reaction that causes energy in the form of light. And that's called chemiluminescence. It's really interesting that these two fluids mix, they combine, and it starts to shine. But it happens when it's broken. It only glows when it breaks. Matthew chapter 5, verses 14 and 15 says, "But you are the light of the world. A town built on a hill cannot be hidden. Neither do people light a lamp and put it under a bowl. Instead, they put it on its stand, and it gives light to everyone in the house." Woo! I want you to get this thing because this is exciting to me. Have you ever considered that you shine brightest when you're broken? Wow. See, here's the misconception. We believe that we shine brightest when we're successful. But the theology of the glow stick says different. The theology of the glow stick says when we are broken, that's when we shine. That when we're broken by the Word of God, by the Spirit of God, when we allow God to break the sin, to break the ego, to break the hubris, to break the resistance against His Word and His will, or when we allow the situations of life to challenge us and develop us, that's when we grow the most. Because when we are broken under the will and hand of God, the mighty hand of God, that's when His character shines forth the most. That's when we see the long-suffering nature of God developing in us. We see His mercy and His grace at work in us. We see Him purging those old things out of us and renewing something new inside of us. And He does it by those moments when we break. And then there's the combination of the challenges of life and His mercy, of His grace and the pitfalls of life that cause this spiritual reaction inside of us where we're able to shine forth the light of God's character in darkness. And we don't just do this for our own benefit. We do it to provide light to the world around us. Because see, Matthew chapter 5 tells you in the words of Jesus, you are the light of the world. That means that God placed you where you are on purpose and allows the moments where you break and the mercies of God combined with the challenges of life to show forth His character to people in darkness around you. Because the people who are going through the same hardships that you're going through need to know that there's a God who can sustain them, who can love them, who can encourage them, who can save them the same way He's saving you when you break. Are you allowing the Word of God, the Spirit of God, to break you today so that God can use you to share His glory, to shine His light to the world around you? I pray that you are. I pray that this little light of yours you would let shine, and that others would see Jesus in you. So, looking forward to seeing you next week. You're always wonderful. This is Grace Points. God bless you.